Matt, we're in your studio in Hamden. What's the address of it?
I'm at 720 West 36th Street. Got some flowers by the door.
And how does your art have a name? What genre does it belong to?
Well,
I'm not asking about the genre that it belongs
so the genre, yeah. You know, I've sort of, you know, I mean, it is painting. I suppose you'd have to say mixed media. That's a big umbrella.
And show us one of your pieces that you're working on recently.
Well, this is sort of a commission. You know, I do a lot of more sort of complex works, you know, that over a period of time just sort of get built on, and they'll start out with a simple idea, and, you know, new things just get sort of piled on, and then sometimes that original idea seeps through from the bottom, and sometimes it just goes in a completely new direction. You know, sometimes I'll even start a larger piece and then cut it down so that, you know, it makes a bunch of smaller pieces, and then, you know, and then each one sort of is isolated. You know, this is like this. I started with this sort of more symmetrical painting. This is actually painted on paper, and so I would make a series of small lines and then fold the paper to create the symmetry. And this is sort of a work in progress here. And then, so
the colors are dazzling, like on this piece. They're really dazzling.
Thanks.
I mean,
yeah, you know, I didn't really understand color until I started using watercolors. I lived in Japan for 5 years, and it forced me to really sort of concentrate my materials. You know, I had just a roll of paper, and I would use watercolor and inks. They were very sort of compact materials, and I really like focused down on color. And you know, with watercolors, you're always adding layers and layers, so things are, you know, things at the bottom are sort of still present even after they've been covered over, and you know, they've been covered over and hidden and distracted from, and so yeah.
Now, is there anybody that's been your mentor or somebody that you look up to in this field?
Well, you know,
somebody at school, maybe?
I have moved around so much in my life, and you know, I've lived in 18 cities.
A vagabond.
Or 18 houses, let's put it that way.
Okay.
And I actually lost count. I think the 18 houses, that was like four houses ago, you know. But, you know, 3 different countries. I feel like I've always.
And you were born in England.
And I was born in England. I lived in Japan for a while. You know, lived in the Midwest. Now here in Baltimore, which I love, and I really think, you know, I found a spot here where I can sort of build and, you know, put down roots. But
and for the audience benefit, we're talking about Hamden. You're in Hamden, huh?
Yep, we're in Hamden.
On the avenue.
I love Hamden. You know, I stay here, and you know, I know people. I'm out on the avenue, and people, you know, I'll say hello to people, friends, people I've just met, people constantly around me. Yeah, I really feel at home here. Like I've been accepted, and all right, see ya. See that? So yeah, Hamden has blown my mind, and Baltimore in general. Just the sort of the grassroots approach. People are allowed their own sort of quirkiness here, and
that's right. They tolerate me.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, I really feel Hamden.
Now let's piece right here against the wall. Now what's that about? That's a very interesting piece.
Well, you know, this is funny. I've had this piece. I think I've shown it a couple of places. I actually showed it at 13.5. I think that was the first spot I showed it, and it was just this sort of explosion in the sky, and you know, and things. You know, I'll make a piece, and then, you know, I'll sell it to somebody, or I'll it around. If it sells, it's sort of, you know, each piece. I'll never sell a piece that I don't think can be finished, but each piece I do has the option of being added to and complexified. You know, I think contradiction and juxtaposition and these things that sort of challenge the mind, like why is that there? You know, it's not a question I'm necessarily able to answer all the time. You know, and I like that kind of ambiguity in things. But you know, like this piece, I just added the cat and dog, and you know, I thought, because originally it was like this thing, there's an explosion happening in the sky, and you know, it could represent any number of things. Um, but you know, I thought I would add this couple. You know, this piece is actually called "Dogs and Cats Living Together." Mass hysteria, which is a Ghostbusters reference there.
Yeah,
but you know, so for me, it was sort of like, you know, I further illustrated what this thing means and what it could mean, you know, to this couple who, you know, for me, it's like on their wedding day, and something awful has happened.
Now, Matt,
You know.
you've been here in this studio space since when?
Oh, it's 2 years. It's almost exactly 2 years now.
So this is your studio, but you also sell things out of here?
Yep,
Or-
generally. You know, it's funny, I use Facebook a lot. You know, I post pictures quite frequently on there, and
So people could go to your Facebook page.
people could totally friend me on Facebook. I do some festivals in the summer. I think that's where mostly I've sort of met, you know, sort of networked the most in Baltimore, is at street festivals and things like that. But oh, it's so hard. It's such a draining day, and you know, generally I meet people, but I'm so hungry and dehydrated that I'm just like, you know. So, but you know, some people drop in. You know, if the door's open, people are totally free to pop their head in here.
Well, I noticed you got things on assignment down the street here.
I do.
And what's the name of that place?
There is Avenue Antiques. I'm in the basement, and I have a lot of clothing in there. I'm sort of like, you know, I'm still playing around with things and what exactly I want to do. You know, I don't. I want to sort of be everything, and just be, you know, just have things, you know, pouring out of me, and you know, try not to label it too much or think about what it means, but just sort of be honest to myself. And yeah, so Avenue Antiques is 901 36th Street. I have a little spot in the basement.
Okay.